welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than what I normally do because the next 2 weeks there are 2 national holidays that just kind of go perfectly with something that I was trying out in my personal life. So today, April 5th, is National Self-Care Day, and on April 16th, it's National Stress Awareness Day. So I have decided for the next 12 days to do a stress relieving activity or a self-care activity every single day, a different activity every single day. So this kind of correlated really well with what's happening in my life right now because I work 3 part-time jobs, which I absolutely love, but sometimes it can be kind of crazy, and I've never really had a good way to relieve stress other than eating. And I really want to try to stop eating because of stress. And I want to stop using food to reward myself. I want to have a better relationship with food. And I think the only way that I can do that is if I stop using it as a reward and as a coping mechanism. So I am trying to find some more stress relieving activities or some more self-care activities that I can do that are going to help me stay less stressed just on a daily basis. So recently I saw an Instagram post from Pixar that was like self-care tips from Pixar characters. And so they've got a little different themed self-care activity for different Pixar characters. So like Dash is go for a run, and the little boy from Coco is sing a song, like those kind of things. So there's actually like 9 or 10 things listed on there that I want to try personally. So I'm going to be using that as a guide for the first few activities that I do, and I'll have to get creative and come up with something for the last few days. So every day for the next 12 days, I'm going to be videoing myself and talking about how my day was, how I'm feeling, and how stressed I'm feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. And then I'm going to do a stress relieving activity, and then I'm going to come back and tell you guys how I feel afterwards. So today's activity is journaling. So work today was pretty great. Everything was super easy. I got to work my barista job, which I haven't gotten to do in like so many days. It feels like so long. And so it was really nice to be back there, and I love working there. It's just so fun and doesn't really feel like work. So everything went really well all day. I did end up picking up another shift while I was there, and so I'm slightly stressed about that, but working as a barista isn't mentally taxing and it's more like stress relieving, so I'm sure that it's gonna be okay. And towards the end of my shift, I did have something happen that honestly it's not important, and I won't even remember by the time I'm posting this video, but something happened that just upset me. So I'm feeling a little bit stressed about that. But that's why I decided to journal today, because that way I can write about it, and hopefully that will make me feel better and be able to process all of the thoughts and feelings that I'm having about that thing that happened. So that made me feel a little stressed and not as happy. We also got out of work really, really early because we were super dead because it was rainy. So it was honestly a pretty good day, except for that one thing that happened right at the end of the day, just to make it all so great. Such a great end to a really great day. I love it. So I'm going to be journaling about that. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm honestly probably only at like a 3 or a 4 of stress level. I can feel it in my back and in my shoulders that I'm like stressed, and I think that was probably from driving in the rain. So I'm only really at a 3 or a 4. But hopefully after journaling I will be at a 2 or a 1 or a 0. So I will go journal and I'll come back and let you know how I'm feeling. Alright, I'm back. I just spent over an hour journaling. I didn't expect it to take that long. A lot of stuff came up that I wasn't expecting to come up. Like, I had already kind of been thinking about what I wanted to say on the ride home, like what I wanted to journal about. And so I kind of knew what I was gonna write, and then I started writing it, and then I was like, whoa, where'd you come from? And you, where did you come from? All kinds of things were coming up. So during the journaling, I was feeling a little bit worse, and then now I'm feeling a little bit better now that I finished it. I feel like I'm really poetic when I write. I'm definitely not when I speak without having it written down, but in my head, I've always just been a really good writer, and I always write in a kind of like pow, like mic drop kind of way. And this one that I wrote, this journal entry thing that I wrote, happened to just really sound like spoken word poetry. I'll always go back and reread them out loud. And so this one, as I was reading it out loud, it just really felt like spoken word poetry. And that, I think, was a really healing part of it. Or like at least a really good addition, because I obviously, like, the journaling was really helpful, but I forgot how much I love public speaking. Not that I was public speaking, I was just sitting in my own apartment, no one's listening to me, but it was nice to speak it out loud. Even, no matter what it is. It's just, I really like hearing the sound of my own voice. Apparently, I think that's what it is. And so the way that I had written it, it just turned out to sound really good read out loud. Maybe after COVID, I would love to go to like an open mic night and read something like that. I can totally hear myself reading that piece at an open mic, and either the crowd being like completely silent once I finish, that kind of like, we're letting it sink in kind of thing, or it would be like a roaring, like, whoa, that's like, did you hear what she just said, like mic drop kind of thing, which might come across cocky that I think that I would get applause, but I don't care, because I liked it, and probably no one's ever gonna read it, so no one else is gonna know if it's bad or not, and my opinion is the only one that matters. So long story short, I journaled, I read it out loud, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling really good. It felt good to write about it because it helped me organize my thoughts about the whole thing, but it also helped me like get it out, you know, and express the feeling and like sit in the feeling or whatever garbage that they say. So if we go back to the beginning of this video, I rated my stress levels on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest, like super stressed. I don't know if I said that at the beginning, but that's the scale that we're gonna go at, like 10 being super stressed and 1 being not at all. I don't feel less stressed after journaling. I might even feel more stressed because I'm tired and I get really anxious about not getting enough sleep and not being able to go to bed early enough. So I'm feeling really anxious about that because it took longer than I thought. But the writing itself didn't make me feel less stressed. I think it did make me feel better. It did make me feel happier and healthier, just being able to express how I was feeling about it, and my mind is clearer now that I've gotten all of my thoughts out about it. But I don't think it made me feel less stressed. So I still think it's a good self-care activity. And the more often and the more frequently you do self-care activities, the lower your stress levels will be as a baseline because you're taking care of yourself and you're regulating your emotions. But I wouldn't consider it a stress-relieving activity. Like if I was really stressed about how I don't have time because I had worked so many jobs and they all need me these few days and I'm not going to have any time to myself, I would never choose to write about it because I don't think it's helpful to reduce stress in the moment. Overall stress, it'll bring your baseline down, yes, but I don't think that it's a good activity for in the moment. Whereas like meditation or like breathing, that's something that like I'm currently feeling stressed, I can breathe, and then I will feel less stressed. You know what I mean? I'm sure that's making sense because my words are doing really well tonight. So anyway, I'm gonna go to bed because I'm exhausted and I work tomorrow and I picked up an extra shift tomorrow and I work the next day and I work the next day and I work the next day and 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 the next day. So it's gonna be really great. I don't have another off day for like over 7 days. It's gonna be so fun. We love it. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now. Good night.